Hello everybody. Welcome in Realm Runners to the Achroma weekly live stream on June the 25th, 2023. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian in the Discord. I am the Achroma community coordinator and your host this week for the Achroma weekly stream. And we're back because we obviously didn't have a stream last week. It was the first week to not have a live stream since late January, because even I need to have some time off too occasionally, so I've been away, but I'm now back and we're ready to go again, so welcome in everybody. As always, let's start by welcoming in those that are here in the live stream with me by reading out some of your comments and also discussing the question which I gave you at the very start of the stream, which was, which Curdle Cove card is your favorite so far and why? Now, I appreciate that not everybody has the Curdle Cove cards yet. Some people have only seen a few of them, so not everyone would have been able to ask this question. That's fair enough. But let's go ahead and say hello to a few people and see what people have said. So firstly, welcome in Ferrybread and Lord, who are here nice and early in the stream. Good to see you guys. Lewis came in, Ferrybread came in first with the cat and Benji. Yeah, so there's a card that is a cat and there's a card that's a dog called Benji. I can see them definitely being fan favorites just purely because, you know, who doesn't love a good cat and a good dog? Lewis, welcome in, says Tempest. So that is the action card which allows you to swap locations with, well, it rotates locations around all the players, which, yeah, love the chaos. Welcome in, Bish. Good to see you. Welcome in, Heron. So Heron said, it's a hard one as I've not seen them all, but I do like the ship and the two Achroma legendaries. Yeah, even if you haven't seen them all, I think we can all agree the artwork on them are absolutely stunning. And the ship and the two Achroma legendaries definitely fall in that category. Welcome in, Orteg. Good to see you. I can't stay tonight, but I thought I would pop in. But so far, my favorite has been Dark Rainbow. Yeah, beautiful looking card. And also just generally, I think I said it in the chat, like Dark Rainbow is a card that why wouldn't you put it in your deck? It's just an amazing way to, it's just a fantastic gain card, whether you're playing Achroma and need a sudden boost of shards to then play your Achroma cards, or whether you're trying to play Chroma, you're definitely going to want Dark Rainbow. It's going to become like the full palette of this this Chronicle. Be a good choice. But yeah, welcome in Heron. Welcome in Idol. None, I don't have them. That is fair enough. But surely you've still seen a couple online. Maybe you've seen a couple. I'm sorry to that, Aaron. Yeah. Oh, bless you, Bish. I'm sorry to hear that as well, buddy. Welcome in. I can never say your name properly. My apologies. Makiek? I'm probably demolishing your name. I apologize, but welcome in. Good to see you, mates. Honestly, I'm surprised they let Charlie back. Yeah. They pushed that P45 towards me, but I ripped it up and said, nah, you can't get rid of me that easy. Welcome in, Evan. Summon the Harvest. Spread the secret love to others. Yeah, Summon the Harvest is a brilliant card. Me personally, just say Magic. That's better. You told me that yesterday as well. You even told me that yesterday, and I already forgot, so my apologies. But welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, so my personal favorite, I actually really like the card Bothy. The location that kind of looks like an observatory on top of like a nice amount of grass, mainly because I really like the artwork of Bothy. It's very Studio Ghibli, and I'm here for it. Evening Jack, Calcutta Trident. Ooh, interesting. Is it because you like the ability, or do you just like the Trident is pretty cool? I guess any card that has secret on it. I love secrets. Very nice. Don't tell anyone, it's a secret. Brilliant stuff. Oh, definitely. Bothy's awesome. So, for those that are new to the Achroma Weekly stream, or maybe you've just forgotten because it has been a couple of weeks, here is how the Achroma Weekly stream will be working. So, in a moment, we're going to get started with the Achroma news, events, and previews, where, unsurprisingly, I'm going to give you all of the news for the past 2 weeks. I'm going to be talking about any future events that you should be aware of for Achroma, and we're going to be previewing some new bits. And today, to get you kind of excited, the preview today is I'm going to be showing you the Draco Summer promo card. More on that later. We then have the Realm Table community discussion, and today, very fitting, considering the grand tournament was yesterday, today we are going to be interviewing Lewis, who was the winner of the grand tournament yesterday. We're going to be talking about how the tournament went, how did he find it, and we're also going to be taking a deep dive into the deck that he was using, just so you guys can see how it all turned out. And then to finish the stream off, we have the community showcase, and that's where, as usual, we shine some light on you guys in the community as to some of the amazing fan art and stories and things that you guys have created in the community. With that being said, this is the Achroma Weekly stream for 25th of June. I'm Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian. Let's get started with the Achroma weekly stream. So, starting with the news, events, and previews. As always, we like to start with the Kickstarter updates, of which there are none. I appreciate I could have just skipped this bit, but I think it's become such a regular thing that it's just good to mention that everything is still rolling nicely. You know, we're still actively getting everything created for, you know, the Kickstarter products that are still yet to be created. But no news in terms of ETAs or anything this particular week. The next big bit of news, and it's what we've been talking a lot about in chat to begin this stream, is the fact that Achroma, A Conjuring at Curdle Cove, has now released. As of Monday this week, we now have released it fully. So anybody that pre-ordered it has now had it sent out. I appreciate there are a few that are still yet to arrive, but all of them have been sent. I know a lot of people have been buying them in store, and we've had lots of people go and do store pickup. But for everybody else, if you've not yet bought it, it is available on the store. As per the image you can see, if you get the full collection, as always, you will get the 6 pre-constructed pallets. They will come in the 3 first edition white boxes because they are first edition cards, and they also come in this really nice little kind of slip box case. So, you know, for those that still want to have the, you know, the spines showing like that, you can have that, you know, if that's how you've done your other first edition boxes. But these slip cases are a really nice little addition. Now, something to mention is that these are first editions. We have had some questions in the community about when will the unlimited edition prints be done, because we understand that some people prefer the, if I get an example here, some people prefer the individual boxes, and you know, if you've already bought some of these, then you might want to continue those for your collection. So I don't have an exact date for everybody, but I can say that the aim is to be printing the unlimited edition versions of Conjuring of Curdle Cove at the same time that we print the next Chronicle for Draco. So in the next couple of months, we will print those. But for now, first editions are on the website. And in some other good news as well, I don't actually have the image for it, but the postcards that we were giving away if you pre-ordered A Conjuring at Curdle Cove, there were 16 postcards in total. If you did the full collection, you got all 16 of them. And if you ordered just one box, you would get 2. I have confirmed that we do have a decent amount of those left after pre-orders. So what we're doing as a limited time thing is anybody that orders a box of Conjuring at Curdle Cove, while stocks last, we will also send you the postcards. So if you get the full collection, you'll get the full 16 postcards. If you get just the 2 box, you will get 2 postcards. And that is just simply whilst the stocks last. There's a decent pile at the store, and as soon as they are completely gone, we will let you know. But they will always be a first edition exclusive. So even if we do have some of those postcards left when the limited boxes come out, they are a first edition exclusive. So yes, that is the news about Curdle Cove. I can see in the chat that yes, some of the Kraken first edition art is great. Yeah, some of the Kraken is beautiful, really, really nice, especially with the glossy effects. Fairy Bread in the chat said, "I can't believe Taurus will stop me making the semi-final." Yeah, none of the tradition is broken. What do you mean by that, Guidle? But yeah, so that is the fact that Curdle Cove has released. If you want to pick up some Curdle Cove or look into it further, then you can see the link down below to find where to purchase it. And obviously it is on our explore.achroma.cards database to have a look at all of the cards. Oh, the fact there's no Kickstarter news. Yeah, that is a first. That is a first. So the next bit of news is the fact that yesterday we had the Salem Spring Grand Tournament. For those who don't know, we run Achroma now in seasons, which are 3 monthly. And this is the first season we're running called Salem Spring. And in the last month of every season, we run a Grand Tournament. So this was the Salem Spring Grand Tournament. It's the second Grand Tournament that we've ever run, and it was another fantastic success. As you can see by this picture of Chris with everybody playing, I think this was during round 3. It was really, really fun. It was a packed store, really, really busy day. And it was just like the last Grand Tournament. We had a complete mixture of, we had people that have been playing for a year or so. We've had some people that have only picked up the game in the last few weeks. We had people using all different realms. You know, I saw at least one palette being played from every different realm. Some people were playing just with a single Chronicle. Some were playing with the expansion. Some even had a mixture of Curdle Cove, Curdle Hill, and expansion cards. It was a really, really good mix. mix. Everybody was really wholesome. You know, everybody was really welcoming. I saw loads of really nice chats happening between people. You know, there was no cheating, unfairness, anything like that. It was just a really, really well-rounded, wholesome day. Everybody had loads of fun. There were loads of prizes. So there was about 24, 25 people in the end. And the first person, the first place got a £50 store voucher. Second place got a £25 voucher. Third and fourth got £10. And then I believe it was 5th through 8th got a Haim Shard Cash, the card worth £5. 9th to 15th got the 3 shard card, so the £3 card, and then everyone else got the £1 card. And then everybody also got a Salem Spring promo card and the Curdle Cove promo card as well for coming. So yeah, it was, I say shame hard cash all the time, don't I, Lewis? But yeah, it was just a really, really fun day. Fairy Bread can see yourself in the picture. Chris is monsters inking me. Oh, I see, he's monster inking you. Yeah, because you're right behind the picture of Chris. Yeah, it's like, hey Ma, I'm on YouTube, and it's just the outline of like, is that your back? I think. Yeah. But yeah, it was a really, really fun time. So there is going to be a video going live of it. So those there saw that I was going around with the video camera. So on Friday this week, I will be releasing a video on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, get subscribed to make sure you see that first. And it'll be a video showing the tournament, talking through how it all works, showing all the atmosphere. And we have also recorded the final game as well. So very, very interesting. Definitely worth a watch. That'll be on Friday. And keep an eye out, because we are going to have the next Grand Tournament, which will be the Draco Summer Grand Tournament, which I don't have an exact date for it, but I imagine it would be around September time, which would be the last, July. Yeah, it'll be September time. It'll be the last month of Draco Summer. And yes, shout out to Sarah Jane, who also assisted us yesterday. She was very, very kindly stepping in. So yeah, welcome in, Shah. Had a great time. It was lovely meeting everyone. It was actually, that's another good thing to mention as well, is that there was loads of fresh faces as well. It wasn't just, the same few people that come down to the store, although we love the regulars. So it was really nice. If you were someone who did come down for the first time, it was a pleasure meeting you, pleasure just seeing new people. And like I said, the atmosphere was just lovely. Everybody was really, really friendly. Yes, you got an interview as well, Fairy. Yes, you'll be in that video. You'll be in that video. So the next bit of news is around the Achroma YouTube channel, looking a little bit inwards. So obviously we are covering the news for the past 2 weeks because I didn't stream last week. So we've had 2 new YouTube videos come out, if you've not yet seen. The first one is the Mages Elite Faction Spotlight video. So this is a 8-minute video where I have done a spotlight on the faction Mages Elite under the Chronicle Curdle Hill in the realm of Salem Planum. And the idea behind this is these are basically faction spotlight videos to cover these individual boxes. The plan is that I will be making and releasing one of those videos for every single faction, including the Cove ones that have just come out, including the Draco ones that come out later. Now, obviously, these take time to make these videos. I'm aiming to make 1 or 2 of them a month, so it will take me a little while to catch up, but you will see those coming out as they do. But if you haven't watched the first one, it's already on our YouTube channel. Go and check it out. Even if you already have the Mages Elite, even if you already think you know everything about the Mages Elite, you may learn something new, and it might also help you learn how to play them a little bit better. So definitely give that a watch. And the other thing is this week we also had a new YouTube video on the community games. So once per month we try to bring out a community games video. That came out 2 days ago. So if you haven't yet seen that, definitely go give it a watch. I believe it was 2 back-to-back 3-player games with myself, Lewis, and Taurus, and they were very, very good games, and they're really, really good examples of just how quickly some games can actually go. I won't give away who actually won, but the games go really quickly, and it just shows if you build a good certain types of decks, it can snowball very, very quickly. And yes, there was many, many fun guards in it, so it's definitely worth a watch. So that is the news for Achroma YouTube. Sarah said you did really well, Fairy Bread. Yeah, you did really good, Fairy. Funguar the 5th. So the next bit of news is we have had an app update. So if you haven't already, sometimes it's automatic for some people, but check your app store, whether you're iPhone or Android, and you should have an update for the Achroma app. Simply, it brings in the new Curdle Cove cards. So if you have now got them, they should be scannable. Now, we are aware of a couple of cards that are having slight issues, like, for example, Alana Opal. She isn't scanning for anybody right now. We are aware of it, working on a fix. This update also brought in a fix for Android scanning. So those that have Android phones, you should now be able to scan cards with the actual camera, which I appreciate has been something people have wanted for a while. We are also aware that there are still some issues with scanning some of the unlimited cards. Again, we are fully aware of this and we'll aim to bring out a patch to fix this ASAP. But as always, if you have any issues with the Achroma app, then let us know in the Achroma app channel of our Discord, link down below. But the good news is, as always, we are listening to you guys. We're putting out updates as regularly as we can to get these fixes sorted. But make sure you get this week's update for you. Is there anything else I need to mention there? Nope, that's all good. So then the last main bit of news is about the Salem Spring promo card. So for those that haven't seen, it is now sold out. So this is for those who don't know what the Salem Spring promo card is, this was an exclusive promo card, only 1,200 copies, that we introduced at the start of the Salem Spring season back at the start of April. And it was given out at events, at our tournaments, and also, we had a deal going for a long time, which was if you spend £20 or more, you would get a Salem Spring promo card. Just to be very clear, they are now sold out. So the only way to get your hands on a Salem Spring now, I'm afraid, is by trading with another player or buying one if they are ever up for sale. Those are now completely sold out. The last of them were given at the Grand Tournament as prizes. But don't worry, because there's a new promo card coming out very shortly. Don't worry, I've got 10. Very nice fairy. So yeah, if anyone wants to trade or buy, fairy bread is the entire marketplace for Salem Spring. Very good. The next bit of, yes, it is the card being revealed today, in a moment, actually. So that is the news. Moving on to the events, now that the Grand Tournament is finished, the next event that is going to be happening for Achroma is the Siege of Draco Temple narrative event, the battle for the fate of Siege of Draco Temple. So I will explain. I'll give a short explanation about what is coming, but we are going to talk more about it next week's stream. But as a brief introduction, you can see this card there. I've got a bigger version of the card to see in a moment. So for those that don't know, when we do an Achroma season, it's spread into 3 months. The first month, we have a narrative event. The second month, we have a new release. The third month, we have a Grand Tournament. So what the narrative event is, looking back at Curdle Hill, for example, is we take a look at the previous chronicle for that realm. So for the season we're currently in, that was Curdle Hill. And for 1 month, we run a narrative event where we will be tracking all of the Achroma wins versus all of the Achroma wins worldwide across our app. And then after 30 days has passed, the winner, so whoever's got more, will determine the fate of that chronicle. Now, to kind of kickstart and launch that event, we like to have an event in store where we have a few extra games. So to be very clear, the event for Draco Temple, so the actual Achroma versus Chroma, battle is starting on the 1st of July. So as soon as it ticks over to the 1st of July, leaderboards will reset and the narrative event will start, aka any games you play will start tracking towards the result for Draco Temple. However, normally we would have done the actual in-store event on the first weekend, but because it fell literally the weekend after the Grand Tournament, we felt that was a bit too soon to have a second event straight away. So we've moved the actual in-store event to the weekend after on the 8th. But to be very clear, the actual Achroma starts on the 1st of July. So on the 8th of July, what's happening then is you come down to the store. It's completely free entry. You don't need to get any tickets online. You can just come into the store on the day. As it says there, all ages and experiences are welcome. So firstly, if you come into the store, you will get a guaranteed copy of one of the new promo cards. And obviously you'll be able to bring your palettes and play some games and help, decide the fate of Draco Temple. There will be an exclusive Draco Temple draft format available. So that's kind of like a cube format. I won't explain too much about that today, but it's a fun little game mode where it's just a bit different. And I believe we are also working on some event cards. I don't want to promise anything at the moment because I don't know exactly how many of those we're going to have or whether they're going to be for sale or anything. But to give you a bit of an idea, here are the ones from on screen now. Here are the ones from the Curdle Cove event. So these were like oversized cards that essentially, when you played a game of Achroma with somebody, you had these on the canvas as well. And you were at the start of every round, basically when it was like everybody was about to have their first turn, you would turn over a card, and that would be the that would be something that happened. So, for example, this one here says each player chooses a character on the canvas. That character gets protection this round. So then everybody would then have a turn. And then we'd pull out another card. This might be, let's pick out one. Here we go. What's this one? If able to, each player must restrain their higher shard value character under the higher shard value location. So it's almost like an NPC, a non-player character playing around. So we are working on some Draco versions of these. Hopefully they will be ready for the narrative event. I will keep you guys updated. But yes, Richard, I will say that if we do have those available, as in if we have... if we are able to get these ready and printed, ready for the 8th, then we will make sure that there are some printed and sent out to Bash. Absolutely, we will do, because we appreciate we did that last time. We'll also speak to other stockists in case they want to do any other events as well. But yeah, so that is on the 8th of July. So put it in your diaries and come along. It's going to be awesome. It should be really good. If you have any questions in the meantime about the event, let me know. Let's see what people say in the chat. Yeah, the card is red and black. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Yes, Chroma won last season. You're right, Idol. I will fight for the losing side. Interesting, Fairy, a bit like I did last time. I'm going to be fighting for Achroma. I want the Drakes to win. As much as I love dragons, I think the Drakes are really cool, and I think the Drakes have always been the underdogs. So I really, really want to see Drakes win. So I'm going to be fighting for the Drakes myself. I'm not no betrayal, no sitting on the fence this time. I am definitely going for Drakes. What else have we said in the chat here? We'll bring the Discord bot back online for daily updates and Achroma shifting reports too. Amazing. I guess the next one will be Spirit of Autumn or Spirit of Fall. Yeah, probably. Hey, welcome in, Mongoose. Late to the stream today. The event cards were ace before. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, we are hoping to get them ready for the 8th. The only reason I say hoping is that I've had no confirmation of they are like 100% being printed. So I don't want to get you guys hopes up and say, yes, they're definitely going to be there. But I can confirm they are actively being worked on and the aim is to get them done. But I just don't want to make any promises. I'll know more by next Sunday for sure, I'm sure. Greetings. List of stockists on the website yet? Not yet, but that is on my to-do list, Jack. Apologies, it's not done yet. Might have to build my first Draco deck. So that's a good point, actually. To be very clear, for the entire 4-week event, so for the Achroma, you don't have to play Draco. You know, if you only have decks from Norso, you can still participate in the event. Now, if you want to get role-playing, then I think you probably should play Draco decks, and that would be quite fun. We're definitely, on the Wednesday game sessions I run in the Discord, we're definitely going to have some Draco-only nights for that reason. I mean, like, obviously people can still play other games, but, like, we're going to have, a table which is for Draco only. But to be very clear, anybody can participate in the event, no matter what cards you've got. What else have we got here? Dragon artwork is better. Gotta say, I'll be fighting Chroma. That's fair enough, Fairy. Draco Chroma is good. And actually, I should mention, for those that don't understand what why are we doing this event? How it works is at the end of the 4 weeks, whichever side has won will determine the fate of that chronicle. So there will be a short story or newspaper article or something like that that comes out to show, hey, here is the narrative of what has changed. And also, the cards that we release for the following release, so that the next release for Siege Draco Temple, or sorry, I should say Draco Planum, that will be influenced by the result. So for example, Curdle Cove was directly influenced by the result of the Curdle Hill event. For example, the Curdle Hill event, Chroma won, so some of the cards came more Chroma based. For example, Dark Rainbow is a great example where that's now a plus. That was a plus rather than a minus in the end because of the result. So yes, you guys, the community, are literally shaping the course of our next release of cards and the narrative, the story, the lore behind this chapter by playing your games of Achroma. So very, very exciting. And get 8th of July in your diaries if you're going to come join us in the store. I will be down at the store as well, so hopefully I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys there. Now, let's have a look at that promo card then. You guys can see it a little bit there, but here we go. Here it is in all its glory. Now, for those that are listening on the Achroma cast, because we do upload this, for those that don't know in the live stream, we do upload this to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, for those that prefer listening. So for those that can't see the Draco Summer promo card, the name of it is called Draco Summer. It is a 2-cost uncommon action, just like Salem Spring was. The shard colors are red and black. And yeah, I thought it was going to be cyan as well, but no, it is red and black. And the ability, it's an action, it is Steel 2. So it's exactly the same as Salem Spring, which I think is quite nice to have that consistency. So it's a Steel 2 action for the Draco realm. And the lore, things are heating up in the Draco Planum. Flame is in ascendance, fighting with Achroma for dominance. So it's kind of, okay, so it's focused around Flame. And for those that are listening on the Achroma cast, the images will be in the Discord channel under sneak peeks. And also I can describe it for you. It kind of looks like an atom, or like some form of like ball that's kind of exploded, and you can see the core. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, same as the promo location, so it makes sense. Lord Maiden, you'll be fighting for Dexter. That's a very, very valiant fight. Maybe I'll put Dexter in my Drake decks, because, hey, he can fight for the Drakes too, no? Awesome. So yes, Lewis, what happened to the Curdle Cove newspaper article? So we are aware that there's no getting around the fact it's in our backlog. We apologize that it hasn't come out sooner. The team has been so busy with Curdle Cove that it's one of those things that took a bit of a back seat. Essentially, it needs a little bit of tweaking. There are a few spelling mistakes, and it needs to be formatted a little bit better before it goes on the website. We appreciate that it has been a little bit of time, but the Curdle Hill newspaper that was the end of that narrative event will be on the website at some point to be then further read. I can only apologize that it's not already gone up. It's just purely because we've got other things that have had taken priority, but hopefully will be quite soon. Cool. So that is the news, events, and previews for the stream. So that is the Achroma news, events, and previews. If you have any questions about anything that I've mentioned, then let me know. But what we're going to move on to now is the Realm Table segment. So as I said at the start of the stream, what we're going to be doing in this Realm Table segment, this is a community discussion. I have got a member of the community, Lewis, lined up to have a chat with me today. Lewis was the winner of the Achroma Grand Tournament yesterday, so we're going to be having a bit of an interview with him to talk about the tournament and to go there. Just before we move on, I had a question from Orteg in the chat. How can we get the card? Very, very good question. So the Draco Summer promo card, it will be available at our events. So if you come to our narrative event, if you come to the Grand Tournament in September, if you come see us at any of our events, like when we go like away, like Comic-Cons and stuff like that, you'll be able to get the cards. Almost certainly you'll be able to get it by pre-ordering the next Chronicle release for Draco Planum. And I don't want to confirm or deny, but we will probably, quite strongly, end up running a similar sale. Do you remember with Salem Spring, it was like spend X amount of money and you'll get a Salem Spring in your box. It's probably going to be a similar thing whereby spend X amount of money on cards and you'll get a Draco Summer promo card. So it'll be a case of buying cards, coming to events, or pre-ordering the new release. Good question. Ferrybread says, will we ever be able to get under 18s on stream? Potentially, but it very much, it's a bit of a hard one because it means I've got to get permission from parents. I've also got to get permission from the team. It's an odd kettle of fish, but I will check. Maybe we can one day. And Lewis says, I hope this time if you pre-order, they'll put promos aside for orders. Yes, that is something that we noted. There was a couple of times where they didn't get sent out. We will definitely, we've realized that there was a bit of an issue done there, and we will work on that, definitely. Cool. So let's crack on with the Realm Table community discussion. I mean, if you have any other questions, folks, chuck them in chat anyway. I will get to them. But let's introduce Lewis from the community. Lewis, welcome in, buddy. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Very good, thank you. Firstly, from our half of the All Team, congratulations for the result yesterday. How does it feel to be an Achroma champion?
Yeah, it's pretty nice, especially as I had to skip out on the last one early. It means that I know I can definitely do fairly well, so that's quite nice.
Absolutely. Now, Ferrybread has instantly noted your background and gone, what's the teacher doing? Would you like to explain your background a little bit, considering it was your masterful creation?
Well, it's just Ray deck. So we've got Ray. Wait, wrong side.
There he is.
So, yeah, you can see Ray with Serrano Wincy whispering in his ear, and then everything that makes the Ray deck. We've got the Fairy Fire Tender wearing Doctor Who's lab coat. the Haim Shard Cache, Dracon, Advanced Scouting Party, and a few other things. So yeah.
Amazing. So we will come on to it a little bit later in the chat, but for those who don't know, the deck that, well, would you like to kind of like give a brief summary and the name of the deck you used to win the tournament?
Yeah, so it's been coined as Rayders because it is just Ray and a lot of trading, really. It somehow trades a bit better than Traders does, which is an interesting thing. But yeah, that's basically the summary of the deck.
Yeah. Now we should definitely give a massive shout out to Echo in the community, because it was definitely Echo that came up with this idea first, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, Echo. I heard Echo talking about it. I'd heard you muttering a bit about the deck that he played.
Yeah.
And so I gave it a go, and we spoke about it, and we had some back and forth, made changes before we both took the same final 30 into the tournament.
Yeah, so it's genuinely an amazing palette, and we will have a look at it in due time. But let's start by talking about the tournament itself. So you, as you said, you were in the previous grand tournament, the one we did prior to the season starting, although you did have to leave a little bit early. And although it wasn't the grand tournament, I know you've been in other Achroma tournaments like the one at Hidden Gem recently. So talk us through, how did you find this grand tournament? You know, how was it essentially?
Yeah, it was really, really good. I was glad to see a lot of the feedback that I and some others gave on the last grand tournament been listened to. A lot of changes that made this one run a lot better, a lot smoother, and it just felt more like a proper tournament this time, which was really nice. And the feeling there was great. Everyone was there having a really good time.
It was good, yeah.
Lots of different decks playing. It was quite interesting to see that it was just a single Wishwell palette out there.
Yeah.
So maybe Wishwell needs some love in the near future. But apart from that, there was quite a good mix of a lot of different things, which was quite nice to see. Yeah,
I agree. I think I saw a good 3 or 4 Draco decks. I saw quite a few Sprata, quite a few Curdle, and obviously Cove. Yeah, it was just one Norso, and that was Joe. Shout out to Joe, because he loves his Norso. I'm genuinely surprised about that, though, because I appreciate that Rayders has been a very good deck. I know that a lot of people have been going for Hex Clunker, very, very strong as well. But like, putting those two aside, if you look at all the other like really strong decks, Traders has always been one of the like strongest decks, and it's been made even stronger with the expansion cards. We haven't seen one Traders, and I don't think we saw one at the Hidden Gem tournament either.
No, we didn't. I think the issue is the current format is very, very fast, and Traders, if it doesn't start with its best cards in hand, is not a fast deck.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Very true. It's a little bit of luck based.
It can keep itself going, but if something outpaces it, then it just can't keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, I've been corrected. Lord, you did play a Traders deck for one game. Nice. How? Let us know in the chat how it went, Lord. Or did it basically get completely defeated? You're like, nope, that's it, going back in the bin. Of one round, yeah. Cool. So what was your... So obviously, for those that haven't obviously played in a grand tournament before, and I appreciate the video hasn't actually gone live yet, we play the tournament in a Swiss-style format. What that means, folks, is it was 5 rounds, where the first round was completely randomized, and then after the first round, the winners played against each other, and those that lost play against each other. If you then won your second game, you'd be playing against someone who also has won 2 games. People that have won 1, lost 1 would go against each other. Those that had lost 2 would go against each other. So your games get harder or easier based on whether you're winning or losing. So for yourself, Lewis, you did quite well. How did you find your games? Was there any particular decks that really troubled you?
I mean, my games were over fairly quickly, which I felt a bit bad about, but unfortunately, at the start of the deck, it's 2 to 3 turns is how it aims to win. But definitely, Hex Clunker was the deck I was most worried about going into the tournament. It was a deck I considered taking myself as well instead of Ray. And yeah, that was definitely it was the only game I dropped was to Hex Clunker.
Yeah, and in fairness, Hex Clunker did do well, because I'm pretty certain into the semi-finals, the top 4 cut, there was 2 Rays.
In the final, it was me and Hex Clunker as well. It was the same Hex Clunker I lost to. Yeah,
that's a very good point. Yeah, Hex Clunker was in the final, and that was Milkshake in the community, otherwise known as Fridge. So yeah, Hex Clunker did do well. I think there was also the Pixies in the final, and then semi-final, and another Ray, right?
Yeah, I think originally he was playing Hex Clunker and then switching to Pixies for the semi-finals.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I think that's to try and do anything against the raid deck, but just struggled. Heron said I'm about 11 minutes behind because I was driving. Will Bash have the new promo? Yes, Heron, Bash will have the new promo. We will make sure to send it out to any stockists to make sure they have them available as well. Good question. And Lord, in terms of traders, said, I won 2-0 as I was against the Dragon Drake deck. Okay, so traders came in for one game, won, and then just never got played again. Oh, and Fairy, yes. So Fairy Bread, I'll talk about this. I think I told you this on the day, Lewis. It's brilliant. So Fairy Bread said, I beat someone in one turn after their friend said, what do you mean he's the most intimidating player ever? So yeah, there was a guy called Adam who managed to beat somebody in the first round in one turn, and then we were like, wow, that's amazing, one turn. Using a Curdle Hill Arabella's recipe deck, so they managed to get 9 steel in one turn, and then the very next game Fairy Bread managed to defeat him in one turn, so it's kind of like balance in the force.
Very back and forth.
Very good. 2
very fast decks.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think at that point, what were you playing, Fairy? You were playing Occultists, I believe. I think it was right. So let's talk about your palette then. Actually, well, yeah, we'll talk about your palette, and then we'll talk about I want to talk about the state of like competitive play in Achroma, but I guess that'll work well after talking about your palette. So if you excuse the fact that you'll have 2 faces there for a moment whilst I just bring up your palette. Can never have too much, Lewis. There we go. So
it's like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. So this is your palette. Now, I will say, for those that want to see this, a bit larger or look at it in a separate time, so Lewis does run a website called achroma.tools, which is a community-run website. Loads of good things on there. It's linked down below. And actually, what is specifically linked down below is the article he has written on this palette in terms of how it all works. And there's also another article for the Draco Temple, which is run by Echo, the person who originally came up with this deck, on his take on it too. So definitely check out both of those articles down below. But give us kind of a rundown of how this deck works then for us, for those that have never seen this before.
Yeah, basically it's get as much game down as you can at the start and then just trade your way to victory. You've got 2 fire tenders in there, which are basically just to find Ray. So you've got, I can't remember what the maths off my head, but about a 50% chance of getting Ray in your opening hand, effectively, either Ray or fire tender.
Yep.
So you're getting Ray in most of your games. If you have more fire tenders, they can still find useful things like the Dracons or a full palette, something like that as well. Or they're not terrible trade fodder. And then, yeah, you're playing down other things depending on what's in your hand, using your imps to draw cards, using Commander if you need the removal. And then you've got role reversal. If they've got anything troublesome, you take it, they get an imp, and you just kill the imp. And then the main thing is you've got Factory Reduction Line, which is an incredible card, probably one of the most powerful cards printed. And again, it's another really nice Flutterby card, which lets you reveal a object and deploy it for free. And when you have 2 objects in the deck, we've got Sintamani Stone, which is by far the best card ever printed in Achroma, in my opinion. Yeah,
that definitely needs another at some point.
And then Dr. Hughes Lab Coat. Which synergizes is really well with the deck. And I've eaten my own words in this because when I first reviewed the expansion, I gave this an F in my rating scale. Unfortunately, I have to eat those a little bit now. But yeah, it's really useful. It's not a card you generally actually pay to play. If you had to pay to play, it wouldn't be quite as good. But the fact we're getting it for free means that we're getting a 6-shard thing on board that makes our Blueprint Swollen instant +6. Yeah, and it also makes our Shell Bank safe for a turn. So no cards can drain or steal in a resolve step. So there's still some things that can drain from your shard, but not much. So generally, you're giving yourself a free turn to then be able to get victory in the following turn.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me here is it's just, for those that maybe haven't clocked on to why it's a trading deck, people might be looking at this and comparing it to Norso Traders and going, but you've got no cards that say trade on it. Let's just count up how many cards there are that are 5 shards or more. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Literally a third of your deck can be traded for 5 or 6 shards, which means the chance of you having those cards there is ridiculous. And it's like all of those cards have amazing uses. If you are playing against someone playing Achroma Pixies and they've got 4 Pixies out, great. Play a Giant Prism, profit. Only got 1 card in your hand and you really need to get some more in, play Advanced Scouting Party, because I never used to play
There's also a good chance with Advanced Scouting Party you're going to get enough to trade that it becomes free anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was going to say. Like when Sparta first came out, Fall of Flutterby, I actually really didn't rate Advanced Scouting Party because drawing 3 cards, trading 1 of them, I was normally thinking, well, the chances are you're going to be trading a low shard card, because you're not going to trade a high shard card, because that's probably going to be your rare or legendary that you don't want to do. So I didn't really like it. But actually, yeah, you're right. Most of the time when you play that, if even one of the cards you get is one of these other 8 cards, you just trade that, and now you've drawn 2 cards for effectively free, or maybe gained a shard. Yeah, it's nuts. It's the consistency, isn't it? It's the fact that, like you said, Ray and Fire Tender, high consistency of getting one of those. So many trading cards, so many of those. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. You just got stuff for every situation. Like I said, if you're playing against a heavy Achroma deck, you've got the Giant Prism, and that's going to get you a big burst of gain. You've got the role reversals. You've got the Carmelas for removal of troublesome locations or objects.
Absolutely.
And you've got the card draw from the Imps and the Advanced Scouting Party, which means
and
you're
obviously the
finding all the stuff you need. And yet, that's the thing. They just replace themselves. So again, they're cards you pay for. They pay for themselves generally when you play them. Most of the time, if worst case, they might cost you 1 shard. And then they're going to draw you a card as well. And then Scintillanting Stone just means doesn't matter what happens, you've got access to both your dregs and your opponent's dregs as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, Factory Production Line is just a crazy consistency card as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to come to Idol's comment in the chat. In the nicest way possible, I want to burn that deck with fire because of how strong that is. I jest. And I think most people could say the same, even probably yourself playing against it when you occasionally do that. You can't hate it because it's a just brilliantly put together deck between you and Echo. But yeah, and I think I can come down to where I think the problem is coming. And I'd be interested to hear if you agree with me on this or if you have any ideas. And I'm going to be honest, this is something that the team has recognized. Sometimes we don't know if there's an issue until an issue arises. But I imagine that with the more cards that we release that give you the more options to deck build, like for example expansions or like new Chronicles that you can mix together, there is naturally going to be always a fair amount of 4, 5, 6 shard costs. So, as more releases come out, we might come into this situation more often where you can actually just build a deck that has maybe 20 cards that are 5 or 6 shards, and it just becomes trade.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many you want because you still need to do other things. Because if you're just trading and they're going to start playing drain stuff, you're not going to be able to keep yourself alive.
That's true.
But yeah, the issue is as well, if you look at the deck, it's like you couldn't pick 1 or 2 cards to ban or nerf, and the deck it doesn't work anymore.
Absolutely.
Like me and Echo have already spoken about this. Like, let's say they ban Ray or change Ray. Okay, we cut Fire Tenders, we put in a new legend, we put in 2 more rares, and the rest of the deck still functions. We just lose Ray. Maybe it's 1 turn slower. But
essentially the fundamental, I don't want to say issue because it's I don't want to shoot down anyone's deck. It's a fantastic deck. What makes this deck consistently strong isn't any, like I said, it's not any individual card. It's the fact that there is 10 cards that are 5 or 6 shard cost. You can't just change all those cards. I think what would need to change to be able to make this deck not be basically the best deck out there and to stop it happening potentially in the future is maybe we need to have a bit of reflection on how trading works to stop somehow bring something in that stops people being able to just trade, I win. But it's something that the team will look into. There's not going to be an immediate fix, but for now it well and truly deserves to win. But it brings me on to my next question, and that is, what do you feel is the current state of Achroma competitive gameplay? How do you feel like the game is shaping up in the competitive scene at the moment?
I feel if you take out Ray, I think it's fairly well balanced. Okay. I think the issue is like Echo has had this as well, is we can't work out a way of just having a deck that can consistently beat this Ray deck.
Yeah.
The best be able to get is maybe a 40-60 split with Ray being the advantage still. There is a weird thing with this, which is actually usually Achroma players want to go second, and if they get to pick, they will choose second. Actually, against Ray, you want to pick to go first. You can build up your board. Sure, you're not going to get during your second turn, but then on your second turn, where Ray's already had a single turn, you can now try and get some big burst out and try and take them down.
Yeah.
And that's really your only path to victory, or the Hex Clunker deck where you're getting a lot of control. I think that's one way where it struggles, is if they get a lot of control very early, it can be hard to keep stuff on board and keep the shots up.
Has anybody tried I guess not really, because it came out this week. One thing I might try and until we get any actual changes that change Ray from being a good deck. Maybe I'm thinking a secret Achroma deck. So an occultist / Curdle Cove deck. So it's got lots of drain and steal in it, but also as much secret as possible. The idea being take cards away from you, meaning I might take your Ray, I might take 2 or 3 of your 6 shard costs, whilst also draining you, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with that is it doesn't really care if it loses a couple of cards because
Because
chances
it's got
are those
so
cards
many.
are going to be, yeah, and they're not going to be
Yeah,
that super useful to you if you reveal them on a secret either.
yeah,
Like, the cards don't have amazing effects when you play them. The idea is that they synergize with the rest of the strategy.
yeah. Very true.
And that's where we're having this issue of working out the best way to deal with it. But I think outside of that, I think things are fairly balanced. I think everyone thought Hexclunker was this incredible deck that was unbeatable, and we proved that wasn't the case. People just had to learn to adjust to the play style of it,
Yeah,
and that sort of thing. And also cards like Tempest now have made Hexclunker worse.
yeah.
Even though Hexclunker got cards from Curdle Code that made it better with the divert locations and that sort of thing, there's still stuff that helps balance it out.
My opinion on just actually really quickly before I go on to my next point, I want to read out this comment. So Tim Meads, welcome in Tim, says a keyword that punishes opponents trading with boost of popularity. And I do like the idea of a keyword at some point that is, good versus trading. The only issue is that would then be just one particular keyword. So like my personal worry is as we release more Chronicles, when we release the next Draco Chronicle, is there going to be then suddenly X amount of 5-6 shard costs where you can do the same thing? I feel like there needs to be something like changed outright that affects trading to stop, like, rather than just stopping one particular deck, basically stopping any more cropping up. But yeah, it's something to consider. But the point I want to bring about Hexclunker is I personally never thought that Hexclunker was needing the change. I think, and I'm sure a lot of you can agree with me here, what makes the Hex Clunker decks really, really strong is Sintamani Stone. I think if Sintamani Stone was different in some way, the Hex Clunker deck would be very, very good, but not as consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it was no surprise to me that every single deck in top 4 was running Sintamani Stone.
Yeah.
Because it is, like I said, the best card printed in Achroma ever, in my opinion. It's better than Murky Mana even before that was nerfed.
Yeah. Well, there's irony
it's
that
so versatile, so consistent.
It's the irony that that Sintamani Stone got nerfed. So for those who don't know, the pre-production Sintamani Stone was supposed to be find any card in your deck and play it for free. We nerfed that because Murky Mana was find a card with Achroma and play it for free, and we didn't like how consistent it was at getting out cards like Isadora. So we nerfed Murky Mana to be reveal. So we then decided we need to change Sintamani Stone, but where it got changed to ended up being actually far stronger in certain circumstances, but it's something interesting. Let's go back to the chat. So Ferrybread says, I love Ray being played when I've got Fireball Acrom Converter, Corrupted Muon Trap, and not just in my hand. Very nice. Idle says, reducing shard costs as it is an indirect counter to trading. It is, yeah, very true. If you can get that up quickly, then that can be quite useful. Possibly trading once per turn. Yeah, that's the hard thing. If we made any changes to trading in that way, that might end up negatively impacting the actual Norso traders, and it might also impact Acrom decks that sometimes rely on double trading to survive the next turn, but it's something we'll play around with. And Ferrybird says, my idea, new keyword, thief. Whenever an opponent trades, you split the shards between this card's owner and the trader. Oh, that would be quite nice. That's quite cool. I like that idea. Was there anything else I was going to discuss? I mean, that pretty much sums up the tournament quite well, to be honest. Is there anything else you want to talk about, specifically about your palette or about the kind of state of competitive play at the moment? Any other points you wanted to say?
I mean, my only thing is that I wrote about my article is I'm not a fan of the being able to change palettes partway through the tournament still.
Mm-hmm.
I get the whole, casual versus competitive, but like I said, the event on the 8th coming up, the Draco event, is very casual friendly. I think there's nothing wrong with having a more competitive style event that casual can still tend to have fun as well, but with having a proper competitive rule set.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't hold it against him in the semi-finals. Taurus was like, I'm going to change to Pixies because that's my best shot against you. Knowing that I was playing Ray, and it's kind of like that, it was for the rules. It's fair play to him, but I don't agree with that being a rule that he should be allowed to do.
Fair enough. So to give context for those that haven't been to a tournament or seen it online, so the way we currently run our grand tournaments is you can bring as many palettes that you've created to the grand tournament as you like. You cannot, when a matchup is starting, let's say it's me versus Lewis, you choose one of your decks, and then that's the deck you play for all 3 of the best of 3 games. But then let's say that I played against Lewis, I was playing, I don't know, a Lakringi Shield Maiden's palette and it gets absolutely destroyed. I'm like, okay, that deck's not working. I want to play a different deck. Then on my next matchup against my next person, I can choose a different deck. And that's what Lewis is saying here, is that it's a bit almost unfair that somebody can go, oh, I'm playing against this person. I know they normally play this deck, so I'm going to choose something else. But I'd be interested to hear. Like, let us know what you think in the chat about, would anybody be upset if we told them, sorry, you can only bring one deck to the tournament. You can't swap. Does anybody really like it? I don't know. We'll see what. We'll definitely, we listened to the feedback last time. We'll listen to it this time and might make some changes. See how it goes. Yeah. Yeah. What else we said in chat? Lord Main says, how about once per game per player for Sintamani's action? Potentially, but we don't want to make like a global rule for a card. I guess it'd be easy to change a card, but we'll see. Having a primary and secondary deck could be interesting. Yeah, maybe just 2 decks. Maybe. Idol says the thing with Sintamani Stone is how much usage it can have, not including the action with the attack top. It's got an amazing action. Then it's also a 5-cost object. It's also 2 steel. Yeah, I agree with that. Sarah agrees with you with 1 deck. So does Fairy, I believe. Yeah, pretty cool. Awesome. Well, it's a relatively short Realm Table segment, but to be honest, it was always going to be just chatting through the part stuff like that. So, Lewis, thank you very, very much for joining me on today's Realm Table segment. And again, massive congratulations for winning in the tourney. Will we see you in the Draco Summer Tourney, do you reckon?
As long as I can go, for sure, I'll definitely be there.
Awesome stuff. And again, a big shout out to Lewis for the Achroma Tools website he does. Again, check out the link down below, guys, if you want to see the Rayders deck in full. Also the Draco Temple link as well. But yes, thank you very much, Lewis. I will see you next time, I'm sure.
Lovely. Cheers.
Thank you very much. See you later, guys. I said see you later, guys. I meant see you later. That's a habit to the fact that to normally the fact that normally have several guests. But yes, if we can get a round of thank yous in chat, please, for Lewis for joining us on the Realm Table segment. It's always nice chatting to Lewis. He's always very, very insightful. And again, he did amazing yesterday in the Grand Tournament. So a round of thank yous in chat would be fantastic, please. What else have we got in the chat? Having 2 decks would allow for possibility of counterplay rather than having 1 deck and finding out you're screwed. But yeah, I guess it's one of those things, Evan, that like we don't allow people to change mid-matchup though. So let's say, Evan, that you chose... Let's say that you chose you were going to be playing, I don't know, Mages Elites, and I chose I was going to be playing Pixies. And let's say after the first game, you had I absolutely like flushed you out, killed you really quickly, and Pixies won. You wouldn't be able to change your palette during our matchup. But once we finished our best of 3, you would be able to change for the next game, but actually, you could find that the next game you play, you might go, okay, my Mages Elite didn't work, so I'm going to play, I don't know, my Curdle Cove secret deck instead. But you might find, actually, the next game might have actually been really beneficial for the Mages Elites, but actually secret deck didn't work. So it's one of those things that you don't have to declare what deck you're playing before the game starts. So there is no real counters apart from if you know who you're playing against. In that situation in the semi-final, Taurus knew he was playing against Lewis, so therefore he knew I should play Achroma because he's probably playing Ray. But then again, there was nothing stopping Lewis from actually playing a different palette there and completely throwing Taurus off. Taurus might have swapped to Achroma Pixies, and actually Lewis might have gone Tex Clunker instead. Who knows? But yeah, definitely something that we need to have a think of. We always listen to feedback, and maybe in the next tournament we'll try the 1 palette thing and see how that goes. We'll see. Thank you for the round of thank you, guys. As always, very appreciated. Richard says, what about allowing a 10-card sideboard instead of the whole palette swap? Yeah, maybe swap 10 cards in. That could potentially work. Yeah, very true. 1 deck would definitely make everyone have to build their palette for anything they face. Yeah, very true as well. Maybe we could have a mini tournament with small prize every now and then. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could absolutely do that as well. Hopefully we want to organize some tournaments at some of these stockists as well. We appreciate that not everybody can actually make it down to the Achroma store and pool, so we are actively trying to get some tournaments running in stores like Bash and other stockists around the country to make sure everybody gets involved. Well, that was the end of the Realm Table segment. So thank you very much again to Lewis. For those that are watching on the Achroma cast, that's where the Achroma cast will end. But for those that are on the live stream with us, we're now going on to the community showcase section of our stream. And this is where I like to, shine a little bit of light on you guys in the community and talk about all the main things you have done. Now, to start with, I always like to shout out how many Discord members we now have. So we're now up to 524 members, which is a gain of 13. So if you're one of the 13 new people to join us in our Discord, then welcome in. Lovely to have you in the community. If you've not already joined our Discord community, you can find the link down below of the stream and the Achroma cast. But let's have a little look at what you guys have created this week. What did Idol say? I'm sure we can order some mini... Yes, yeah, we should definitely do some mini online tournaments as well. Why don't we... Yeah, let's do it in the Discord. I agree, Idol. That would actually be quite fun. Why not? Why not? I could run them on Challenge Easy. Yeah, exactly. We could do it as a community-based little thing. I'm about to be 5-3. I'm out. No! Come back. Firstly, I've got some art to show. So the first bit of art is actually from Shah, who is in the chat right now. So Shah posted, and Shah did give me permission to post this image of her. So I'm going to bring up an image of Shah firstly. So this is an image of Shah in the community outside the new Union Hotel. I don't know whereabouts in the world this is, but obviously this really, really cool opportunity to get a photo with these kind of Achroma wings. And Shah decided to take this image and thought, hey, that'd be a really cool idea for a card. So Shah, a week and a half ago, drew these images. The new Onion Hotel. It has layers and layers and it'll make you cry. It's in Manchester. Lovely. Thank you, Shah. So yes, Shah has then drawn these custom cards based off of that image. So there are 2 cards. We've got Wings of Achroma. So she's built this to be an object, 3 prevents, 6 cost, so it is expensive. And the ability is, when attached to a character, all characters with Achroma shards on your canvas get protection from Achroma attacks. So very nice. Almost like the wings are curving around and protecting everybody. Really like the ability, and it's just a really nice way. I like how you've taken a real life image and then made it into a really cool card. I actually really like this one, to be honest. Very, very pleased with it. And if I then go to the next image, we've then got a color variant. So with this one, you can see in the first one, it's like Shah herself is Achrom, but the wings are Achroma. And then in this one, you can see in this one, the clothes that Shah's wearing and the hair are Achroma, the wings are Achroma. And I believe the abilities are similar but slightly different. So a -3 in the resolve, 6 Achroma shards to play, and when attached to a character, all characters with Achroma shards on your canvas get protection from Achroma attacks. So yeah, I mean, prevent 3 takes notes. I think that's quite fair for a we haven't actually ever had a legendary object. We've only ever had legendary characters and locations. So maybe a legendary object could work. And actually, the fact it's legendary to be a prevent 3 or a -3 and that ability, I think works quite well. But the artwork itself is absolutely beautiful, really well drawn, comes from a great idea and really, really creative ability as well. So well done, Shah, for creating those. Thank you very, very much for sharing those in our community. As always, for those who don't know, in our Discord community, there is a forum called Fan Content, where if you ever create if you ever do any drawings, any digital images, any music, any articles, short stories, any form of Achroma content that you've created that you want to share, you can post in that forum, and we like to show them off on stream. But yeah, well done, Shah, for that one. We do have a prevent 4. We do. That is the legendary location. Pokemon, gotta prevent them all. So the next one is a lovely piece of art from Lucy in the Discord. So Lucy, after seeing Curdle Cove be previewed, they absolutely had to do a copy of, an alternate art of Veil Chaser's cat. For those that haven't seen the first cat, I don't actually have my card program going, but I can bring the cat up for you. There we go. I'll bring it across screen there. That's what the cat normally looks like. You can see it on there for those who haven't seen that before. And then I'll bring up hers again there. So decided to do a kind of the cat standing up on 2 paws, looking very, very cute. And again, it's beautiful artwork, really well drawn. Looks fantastic with all the abilities on. Love the eyes as well. Very, very well done to Lucy, and thank you very much for sharing that in our Discord in this 2-week period, because it's brilliant. Genuinely, the shading is amazing. It's a really good drawing. Like, genuinely, I could have been shown that, and I'd have thought that was actually one of the official cards. You should make your own. Oh, you're absolutely right. Sarah Jane says I should make my own version with Salem and Lucy. For those who don't know, Salem and Lucy are my 2 black cats. I should absolutely do that. You're right. Maybe I'll work on that this week. Thinks of inspiration. Well, it looks like there might be some sort of inspiration. Yeah, if you want to draw my 2 cats, they're black cats. Meow, meow, come here, little veil chaser. It's so cute. But yes, very well done to Lucy for that. And then last one got submitted yesterday after the Grand Tournament. This is a beautiful alternate art of the Imp card. This has been drawn by Ghoulish in the Discord, who joined yesterday. If you're watching Ghoulish, hello. I met them in the Grand Tournament yesterday. They came to support their friend, and we had a bit of a chat. They said they're an artist, and I was like, oh, loads of people love to draw fan art. So they came into the Discord, and that's the first inspiration they had to draw a card. But yeah, I do. I also love the Imp art lately. And honestly, Lewis, I think this was inspired by Kaz, because I was having a discussion with Ghoulish in the store yesterday when you guys were in the round, and I was showing them the fan content, and one of the first things that came up was Kaz's forum for Pim the Imp, and I was like, oh look, here's an example of somebody who you know does some fan art, and clearly they were so inspired, they were like, I'd like to draw the Imp as well. So I'm pretty certain that was actually inspired by Kaz. But yes, a beautiful alt art. Again, you know, for those that don't know what Imp looks like normally, let's bring a picture of Imp. Here he is. That's what the Imp looks like normally. So he's kind of like standing up with the wings. And actually, I kind of prefer this one. I really like this. Pokemon's back. Got to draw them all. Well, absolutely. But very, very well done, Ghoulish. Thank you very, very much for sending this in. Again, beautiful artwork. Again, you could put that on a card, and I would have thought that was actually a genuine card. It's very well drawn. Very, very good. Well done. And then the last bit of community showcase is actually, I've already mentioned it earlier in the Realm table, but I will mention it again, is that we have got a couple of new articles on Draco Temples on the website. It's literally a website called Draco Temple. It is a community article website made by Echo in the community. He's done an article on the Rayders, this particular palette, as well as a couple of other articles this week, so definitely go and check him out. And also the Achroma.tools website made by Lewis, which again has posted this palette, has loads of really cool deck building tools, so definitely go check that out as well. I believe it's had some updates. And also character creation tool, actually, I should mention that. For anyone that is getting into the TTRPG, he has made a useful digital version of the character creation on his Achroma.tools website, so if you want to maybe try testing that out and building a TTRPG character, you absolutely can. Yeah, I remembered, Lewis. I remembered it before the comment came up. Knew it. Game nights when? So for those that are actually getting involved in TTRPG, I know I keep saying soon, but it is very, very soon. I am working on a 2 to 3 hour TTRPG Achroma role-playing game, one shot, that I'm going to be running for groups of people in the Discord. Under the Discord, there is a forum called RPG Forum. In there, there's a forum post called Looking for Players. And if you put your name down in there, I'll put you on the list. I'm going to be releasing dates for when I'm going to be running those very, very soon. There's technically unlimited spaces, Evan. I will run it as many times as needs be. I'm looking for groups of 4 to 5 players per session. And I'm pretty certain I've already got like 25 people that want to do it. So there's going to be many, many sessions. And even if it's just one person by themselves, I will run it. So, you know, put your name down. I'll get you in. You know, I'm going to release some dates of when they're going to be running. And then people can basically sign and go, oh, I can do that date. Oh, I can do that date. I can do that date. And we'll fill up the spaces, but I will keep running it until everybody that wants to have a go has had a go. That is a promise. But that will be going up very, very soon, because I appreciate loads of people are really itching to get started with the role-playing game. And a bit like other role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, it's all well and good like having friends to play. Sometimes it's who's gonna be the realm master. I don't want to do it. I just want to be a player. I don't want to be a realm master. Realm master? Who said realm master? No, I'm not being the realm master. You know, it's always very hard organizing a group. So I appreciate a lot of people are itching to play. So we'll get it organized very, very soon. If needed, I'll happily fill in. Yeah, absolutely. I can teach you how to realm master it, Idol. I trust your. I've seen you dungeon master for D&D, so you can always run a few sessions as well. Yeah, the fast speaking man is back. Yeah, same as Idol. Happy to fill out spaces. Perfect. Oh, you mean fill out spaces in like as in be other characters. I thought you meant like you wanted to help realm master it, but you could do that as well. Awesome. But that is the end of the community segments. And that kind of brings us on to the end of this week's live stream, which has been a good one. As a bit of a recap, we've had the fact that Curdle Cove is now out. We've had the fact that Grand Tournament was yesterday. We've had a look at the next event, the Draco Summer. Now, I will say, next week's stream, the main topic of next week's stream is we're going to do a deep dive into the Draco summer season. What can you expect? What's it going to encompass? What's going to be happening? Loads of details. So definitely check out next week's stream for that. There'll also probably be an article on the website. We've had a really good interview with Lewis today for the Realm table. So again, thank you for being there for that, mate. And we had a good community showcase. I'm excited. I've never played any RPGs. It's going to be a lot of fun. You were fine, Idol. Don't shoot yourself short. Perfect. Well, that is the end of this week's weekly live stream. As always, folks, thank you very, very much for everybody being here. It would not be as fun if it wasn't for you guys in the chat, chatting live with me. It makes my life so much more fun. Now, I appreciate that sometimes at the end of streams, I normally jump in Discord and play games. As much as I would really love to play some games tonight, I do have some guests. As many of you know, I was away on holiday this week. And as the holiday is finished, I still have a few of my family members staying with me over the weekend. So to be social, I'm going to go and hang out with them. But to be very clear, Wednesday, the games night sessions will be back. So I'll be playing Wednesday night. And even though I won't be in the Discord after stream today, I encourage you guys, jump in table 1, play some games, chat about the stream if you want to. Tim, thank you very much. The betrayal is all good. I'll draw a cat if anyone has ideas. Very good, Fairy. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys. That is the Achroma Wiki stream. I will see you in the community games on Wednesday, and I'll see you next Sunday for the Achroma Wiki stream. Have a fantastic start to your week. See you guys. Bye-bye.